In a world where one woman tries to start a podcast,
how will I ever do this on my own?
She thought she would have to get expensive equipment.
What? I can do all of this on a free app?
She thought she would have to find creation tools all over the internet.
You mean it can all be contained in an app on my phone and computer?
She thought she would have to do all her own distribution.
You mean to tell me this app is going to send it to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all those other platforms for me?
She thought she would never make any money.
I don't have to wait for a minimum listenership to monetize?
She thought that she would have to find all kinds of different equipment and pieces.
But I'm going to download this free Anchor app and get started today.
Visit Anchor.fm and download the free Anchor app to be just like her, the ultimate podcaster.
Hello and welcome to the Lou Review. This is your host, Rosa, and today I'm joined by my partner in crime, Lindsay Thompson. And we are going to talk about something unique in Louisville that we have kind of grown together. Mm-hmm. So, Lindsay, would you like to introduce people to our group project?
Our group project is called Louisville Women Connect, and it is a group in Louisville for any woman of any background, religion, shape, size, color, that wants to make new friends. And the only thing you have to do to be a part of the group is show up in person.
And join the Facebook group, because
yes,
that is the source of how we communicate with one another.
Yeah, sorry, you do have to be a member of Facebook.
Yeah.
That's a little caveat there.
So we don't meet anybody through that group who doesn't have Facebook, surprisingly.
Yes.
Oh, wait, there's something to that.
Yes.
But yeah, the whole point of it is to make authentic friendships and to meet in person, which has been so nice to do after coming back from lockdown. Mm-hmm. So, Lindsay kind of had a similar group before Louisville. Lindsay, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to start this Facebook group?
So, previously, I've moved around a little bit, and I lived in Lenoir, North Carolina. Probably not heard of it because it's a very small town outside of Boone, North Carolina. And I was a mom. I am still a mom. But a mom of a young child then. And so I wanted to find other mom friends. So I thought if I created this group with other moms, then we could do play dates and different things. It became just a Facebook group and didn't have a lot of in-person events. It is still existing today, has over 1,000 members, but there wasn't a lot to do in the small town. I think that's why it never became that. So when I moved to Louisville, knowing that there was thousands and thousands of more people in this town and thousands more things to do, not being from the area and wanting to meet people, I just automatically thought when the pandemic started, let's start an online group and see where it goes.
And you posted every day for a year, right? Was that 2020 into 21? Is that right?
Over a year, March 18th of 2020 to May 9th of 2021.
And at that point, you were just inviting everybody, and it was all online conversations. I think they had some virtual meetups, right? Were there like a Zoom meeting or two?
Maybe one or two, but nothing that I personally led. And then as we becoming out of lockdown, that's when I kind of put my toe in the water of it. Does anybody want to meet up for dinner? And we had our first in-person event at Gustavo's in Norton Commons, and there was 12 of us. Yeah. And so that kind of kicked off the group in a in-person way.
Yeah. And then you invited whoever was interested in planning more events to come over to your house. And so I found it after you've already been consistently posting in this group for a year. You shared it to like a what's happening in your neighborhood group. Hey, I started this group for women, so if you want to join, just click over here. And I had just kind of lost my best friend, and there was not a death. It was just a parting of ways, just to clarify. But I was like, I need new friends. And I always I felt like I have always had a hard time making girlfriends. I felt like it's easier to be friends with guys. But I wanted to change that and learn how to be a better friend with girls. And so that's kind of a thing that I was focused on. And so when you put the ask out there, I was like, oh, this could be it. Because I was already doing the podcast. I was already going out and exploring Louisville, but I didn't want to do it by myself. And my husband's so nice. He watches the kids so that I can go out gallivanting all over town. Because he doesn't want to go. So I need buddies. So I was like, I need to meet more buddies so that I can go out and explore Louisville and do the Lou Review podcast. Which, if you have not listened to this podcast before, I would love it if you'd go back and listen to the episodes about the cool things that are happening in Louisville, and subscribe to be notified of new episodes, because there will be plenty more. But I came to your house, Lindsay, for kind of like an introduction and sort of idea planning session of what kind of in-person events do we want to do. And that's kind of when we just did some brainstorming with some of the people that we've learned to grow really close to over the last year. We were just talking about how I think everybody who is sitting at that table is still in the group and active. And so we've been seeing them at least once a month or more over the course of more than a year, because that was like early summer, and now we're going into the fall of 22. So after that, we had a dinner meeting at Louisville, where you went around and you had already kind of met or messaged with a lot of the people who were coming to the event, and so you intentionally walked us over to meet each other. Like you said, Rosa, you need to meet Susan because she gets out as much as you do. I was like, no, she does not. She does, though. You were right. And you just picked up on whose interests were what and matched them up with people with common interests and got those conversations going. And so it was like I knew one other person in that group of 20 women. But I walked away knowing 10 others that I had mutual interests with. And that was because you were really intentional about connecting based on those mutual interests. So can you talk about how the group has grown since then and the changes that you've seen over the last year?
Yeah, so after that Louisville dinner, we continued to have a couple of events, but it really didn't take off, I think, until you started doing the weekly coffee or brunch on Saturday mornings. And it's really hold true that Rosa tells people, just do something that you would already do yourself and invite people to come along. And so that you're not putting yourself out to do something at a time that you wouldn't normally do something at. And so she began to plan these coffee or brunch dates probably in December going into January, and it just became very regular. And I came to some of those, and
we had coffee at Fonte's Coffee that one day. That was such a great place for us to talk and really get to know each other more in a smaller group, because I think there was 4 of us total. No, there was just the 3 of us, wasn't it? There's one that was just 3, us and one other person, I remember. And so we went from let's meet in a group of 20 to here's our little insular conversational space where we got to go deeper and get to know each other better. So that was cool that it wasn't just one-on-one meetups. This is where we don't go here to just match up with one person, and we don't go here to just get together with a horde of people that are strangers. But we were feeling out different interests and different comfort levels. Some people don't want to go to big events, and some people are afraid to meet one-on-one with somebody, and if they hate that person and never want to see them again, it's awkward to leave. So
it's like dating. Friendship
is
like dating, and so there are people that you meet, whether it be in a big group or one-on-one, that you are like, nice person, don't have a lot in common. Others you just click with right away. But yeah, the events became pretty regular with Rosa, because I tend to be a little bit more introverted, and we had bingo and trivia, and we started having meet and greets every month, and just the consistency, I think, is really what started to grow the group. We had a book club on the book I'll Be There with Sweatpants On, and it was about friendship.
Yeah, that was so helpful. I think that was so inspiring that you put that together, because it was like a vision casting session where we met one Saturday a month for a few months in a row to talk over a couple chapters at a time, taking the lessons from those chapters about what they were talking about with authentic friendship, and how it's not about impressing other people. It's about being able to be real together and do life together. And what are some other things that you are really glad we took away from that book?
I think just showing up as you are, vulnerability. I think that you have to show up to have that friendship. People want friends, but they don't want to have to do the work to get there.
Oh, that was an emphasized point in the book, wasn't it? They were like, people have a capacity for 5 close friends or something, but they have to, what was it? They have to do so many hours of time with that person to get to that point of closeness.
Yeah, I think it's like 150 hours.
Right. And so you're like, how are you ever going to, if you don't spend 150 hours with this person, you're just not ever going to be close with anybody, because it requires a time investment of feeling each other out in that, like, how are they going to react to this? How are they going to respond when they find out this about me? And getting to that place of trust where you build this trust of, okay, I know that I can count on them to be this way, whatever way they are, but then you know what you're dealing with that person, and you can feel comfortable with that person. Like, I know I can depend on you to make a spreadsheet for anything that I might need. Maybe that's not an intimate detail, because I think a lot of people know that now. But,
yeah, my mom used to say, you have to have memories with people to then say, when we did this together, remember?
Yeah.
And so if you don't do anything with anybody, there's no memories to look back on.
Yeah.
And so that's just putting in the time and the effort. So yeah, we did that book club. We've done bingo. We have had different events, whether it be cultural events with Indian food and cooking classes, to the German beer garden events. We've had a volunteer event. I think it was in March. We decided to all get together to do the Love the Hungry service event. And then Rosa was already interested in going to the farmer's market in J-Town.
Yeah, my son does a lemonade stand there in Jeffersontown on Saturday mornings, and so I am going to be there anyway. And so, like, I like to remind the people in the group, if you're going to be somewhere and you want to have more friends there, invite them. You know. And so the day the farmers market opened, we had 20 women come and sit with me at a little table and have their fresh breakfast from the farmers market. And they also did get some of JC's lemonade, which I was very thankful to support his new endeavor. And but now they've been horseback riding. There was a group of women that went kayaking, And I mean, it was so heartwarming to see these memories being made. It's like, I can't go to everything now. For a long time, it felt like I had to put on like all the events because like that's the only way it was going to happen. Some people didn't realize they could, or didn't know they were allowed, or didn't know how to operate creating a Facebook event, for example. But we've done tutorials on that to empower women to create the space that they need to make those friendships. And it's just really exciting to see how that has grown. And like you were talking about, the variety that we've got 2 separate book clubs now that meet. One's on Tuesday and one's on Thursday. Is it once a month for each one, or is it weekly?
I think it's once a month. One on Tuesday, one on Thursday. They started that off with the Where the Crawdads Sing book club, and they enjoyed the book so much that they ended up meeting all in a movie theater, 60 of them, to watch Where the Crawdads Sing when it came out.
They rented out a movie theater for it.
And it was the largest event to date at that point in time. May still be the largest event. I think so.
Because we've had several with like 40 people at a time. I think 40 is like, generally we'll have an event every month that does like 40. But yeah, 60 was definitely over that.
Yeah. So we ended up then having a meet and greet, well, I guess anniversary dinner at Gustavo's a year after our first event, just to kind of culminate like a year of doing this in person. And then since then, in June and into July, it's just gone from very general events like a meet and greet or a bunko or a trivia coffee brunch to specific events, and you name some of them, but
with specific interests,
gun range and kayaking and horseback riding and poetry nights, self-defense,
Indian cooking lessons, which is very specific. Like, I'm so thankful for Shafali in our group, because she has really opened the door culturally, I feel like, because she was taking people to the restaurants that are Indian restaurants and teaching us the difference of, okay, here's a Northern Indian, here's Southern Indian. This is what you do with the food when it comes out, because so many people are like willing to try things, but they're like, also, I have no idea what this is. Also, I don't know what to do with it. And then she's taught classes at her house where she teaches you how to make the different things at home. And then also they go out and watch Indian movies in the theaters together. Like, yes, they have captions and or subtitles. And, like, I just think that is so cool that it just goes to show there's such a variety of people in the group, and that we're so open to people sharing where they came from. It's not about, oh, you look like me, let's be friends. It's, you're open, let's be friends because our hearts are matching in their openness, you know, because there's lots of people who look like us that we don't want to be friends with. Because they're closed off as people. They're not ready to be friends. They're not ready to be vulnerable. And they're not willing to step outside their comfort zone of what they've been doing. But in this group, when you come into the room, and I'm not the only one to say this, like, I've heard so many women say they just were amazed at how welcoming it was, and how they just felt their social anxiety kind of melt away once they got there, because they saw that they were being accepted and just welcomed so actively by the group, because you could just see the openness on people's faces. And it's disarming. So.
I really think that the more events we have, the more people see other people that may look like them to make them feel more accepted. Which I think is great, because they see, okay, at first maybe, oh, everyone's young, oh, I'm too old, or everyone's old, I'm too young, or everyone's, you know, big or little or dark or light, you know, and there's just so many of everybody. Now you're going to find somebody that, you know, maybe looks like you, if that's what you're looking for to feel comfortable, which I think is great. We had the Dress for Success event.
And that was super helpful, because that is a nonprofit organization that helps women have professional clothing for events to help them be more successful, like job interviews or if they have a court date and they need to look more professional than they're used to, and they don't have a wardrobe for that, they will supply that. And so it was so cool to see women supporting women in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now they're even getting into dancing and pool parties as the summer has ended. And
I do the dancing. I've not done the pool parties, but it's a body empowerment pool party.
Yeah.
Where all bodies are welcome. It's women only, because we don't want you feeling self-conscious around any men or anything. Not that we're hating on men, but because we want to create a space that feels safe. And the dancing, there's been salsa dancing.
There's been pole dancing.
There's been swing dancing. And I'm trying to get in on some contra dancing. So that looks like so much fun.
Yeah, it's been fun, and we have so many events coming up too, because as we've also gone through the summer, we have what we call the Connectors group, which is kind of like a leadership group for this larger group, because I couldn't do this on my own, and even with Rosa as another admin, my yin to my yang, as I say, we still, the two of us, I think that what's taken off is because we have so many other people that have stepped up to care about this group. It's so organic. There's no membership fee. You might pay $5 to save a seat if we need a reservation for a restaurant. But there's, I think that's what keeps people coming, is just it's really authentic and organic. And so we have an 80s party coming up. We have a Friendsgiving cookie exchange for Christmas. We have another movie with Hocus Pocus coming out.
They're having the witches and warlocks.
Yeah,
night.
that too. So there's so many
that'll
things.
Be co-ed. There are some co-ed events, but we try to make sure those are clearly labeled so that people know what they're getting into before they try. And we're trying to encourage people to have child-friendly events, because so many people have said, well, I would love to come, but I have to bring my kids. But we also need people to be willing to host those. So, so it's just a matter of, if you want it, make it, and we will try to help you be successful at that by teaching you what's worked for us in hosting these events. And so,
yeah, we try to keep a lot of the business and self-promotion type of thing out of it, and really keep it to connecting. For friendship purposes. Yes, not networking for business purposes. Because there are other groups out there with Facebook that cover all these other things, and just trying to stay in the lane of connection and friendship. And that seems to have worked for us.
And we've shared about different networking groups. We're like, okay, if you want to network for business, go over here to this nice group of networking ladies, okay? Because that's what this is. That's what that's about. That's not what this is for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gone really well and continues to go well. We have a big sign now, so when we go to events, you can recognize us. And
it's a banner, you guys. It's a 10-foot long banner. Yeah. No, and when I say long, I mean from like one side of my tent to the other, not up and down. It's a 10-foot wide banner, I guess. I don't know. And we have connector t-shirts so that the women in leadership positions, it says connector on the back of it. So if you come to an event and say, we're meeting up in a big public event like at the farmer's market, and you're like, okay, where are the girls I'm supposed to meet? I'm surrounded by people. You can see those t-shirts and see connector and say, oh, that's a person that wants me to say hi to them. And taking away some of that anxiety of, oh, should I speak to that person? And then that connector has already assumed the role of being the one to introduce you around to the rest of the group.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that in our leadership meetings. And we have like little bracelets now that we pass out at all the events. We're about to run out of them maybe because we keep passing them out. There are 900 women in this Facebook group.
Over 900.
Yeah. And there's over 20 women in the leadership group. So it sounds like kind of a skewed ratio, but we're very thankful that there are 20 other women partnered with us. Like one has taken it on, Teresa for this fall has taken on leadership of Bunko Night, which has been super popular. You just roll dice and maybe win a lot of money. And but it requires a lot of organization, and she has stepped up to be in charge of that on a regular basis. I lead meet and greets every month where the purpose is to meet people you haven't met before, because now we have so many people that have been to multiple events that they are building those deeper friendships. They've got creative memories, and so sometimes they're going to want to do things with people they've already gotten comfortable with. But maybe if they're ready to meet some new people, we'll go to a meet and greet. So.
Yeah, I think that's been part of the success of this group, is that certain people have taken on what they love to do and done that consistently every month. So those little subgroups happen if everyone loves trivia and they want to go to trivia every month, or everyone loves dancing and they want to dance every month, or everyone loves reading books and they want to go to book club every month. But not everybody likes to do all those things. And so luckily,
I don't go to book club.
I don't either. Yeah.
But we are so excited that there's a whole group of people. There's two whole groups of people that are really enjoying that.
I love to see other people making friends and connecting and enjoying the group, because it's things that I wouldn't want to do, but other people do want to do. And if it was just me, we would just, be having, I don't know, watching football every week.
And then Lindsay and I would not be friends.
Exactly.
I don't do football. I did go to the Lou City football game. I tell you, I love to adventurize. And I need to go back to the Lynn Family Stadium because they have so many amazing locally owned and operated restaurants that are in the Lynn Family Stadium.
Did not know that.
Yeah, girl, like Hometown Pizza, Four Pegs, they're up in there. And somebody has a foot-long corn dog that I need to experiment with. So, just to let y'all know, the experimenting will proceed.
Yeah.
So,
we've
we might need to get a group together to do that, you think?
Yeah, a soccer. So it's soccer, right? Yeah.
The football of the rest of the world?
Yes.
That one. Did I pay very much attention to it? Not a whole lot. But my daughter did. My daughter's playing soccer, and so it was really cool to, let her see that in real life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But it's been a very fun ride watching this group grow and refine itself and have others that care about the same dream that you have for something is really neat to see, I think. And so I don't take it lightly that people want to participate, and I hope it, continues on for many, many years. But if, anyone that's listening to this wants to join, you just got to be on Facebook and find us at Louisville Women Connect. And
we have questions and some rules to agree to. And those questions are are you willing to meet in person? Because that's a core value of our group.
Yeah. Do you live in the area? Because
you can't be
there are people
physically present otherwise.
Yeah, there are people that live, just probably a little too far to probably come to events very often. And we just ask, you come to your first event in the first 3 months. These days we have sometimes 20 to 30 events a month. So hopefully we can find one that interests you. And then, periodically thereafter, just to keep, it's mostly for the people just to keep up with other people to actually make friendships. So we're not really necessarily putting rules on people as much as the accountability that people have discovered they didn't know they wanted until we did it. And then it's really, really increased participation.
Yeah.
We had over 50 new women come to events just last month.
And there's 50 or more last month as well. That was their first time. So totally separate. Yeah. So that's 100 in 2 months.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
so
was it 50 or close to 45 the month before that?
39 the month before, and then 50 last month. 51.
Lindsay keeps close track of these numbers.
That's the yin to the yang of this group, is that
Rosa will hug everybody.
Rosa's the front of the house. I'm the back of the house.
She does the counting.
Yes, I do the counting and things just because I want to recognize those people, one of our members, Susan, who just came to her 50th event, and she was the first person in the entire group, and Rosa's right there behind her. But so many people, just recognizing them for the the time and the effort that they've put into this group, because the group isn't just Rosa or myself. We wouldn't have a group. We would have a friendship, but we would have.
I don't know.
A group.
Would we even be friends without this group? I think our friendship is based on managing this group. Just because, like, we're so in sync with our vision for and our value of connecting other people.
Yeah.
Like, you and I get personal satisfaction over introducing other people and seeing them be friends.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Does that make us voyeurs?
Does it make us what?
Voyeurs. People
Voyeurs.
who like watching other people.
Oh, I've never heard of that. I was like,
Well, when you Google it, I want to see your face. But anyway.
But I think
Go on.
a podcast I recently listened to about friendship said you only have to have one thing in common to really be friends with somebody, not multiple. So our one thing is we both enjoy this group and connecting each other.
Yeah.
Connecting with other people. And so, you know, that shared vision has kept us, you know, friends, focused, and growing, and and I think in turn you learn about other people, whether right on face value would you have become friends with them, like you said. Maybe not,
because the friend you asked for when you were like, what are you looking for in a friend? You said somebody who likes football, and I'm like, well, shoot, it's not me.
Yeah.
So I would have eliminated myself. But then we organically grew in our friendship as we've been supporting each other and working together on this as our group project. And I tell you what, I don't like group projects. Historically, like in school, I don't believe in group projects because I've had so many people let me down. And so I value you so much because I can trust you to do what you say you're going to do. And that is so hard to find in this world. Thankfully, I found a lot more of them in this group. It's actually restored a lot of my faith in humanity in the last year, because there's so many kind and like honest and just honestly helpful women. Like, I felt like I was always the mom of the group or the nurturer of the group or whatever in whatever circle I was in. But like, there are people now in this group who look out for me, and maybe that is just so comforting. And
I think just seeing what you don't realize, you know, we're doing this and we're doing it because we love to do it, but just seeing how people are watching and listening, and you don't even notice what effect this group has had on them. It's a ripple effect that we don't even see those ripples. We may never see those ripples. And I think that is really heartwarming and keeps me going when we get, you know, messages that, you know, from therapists and different people saying you're helping our clients, and I didn't have any idea who your clients are, but I guess they're in the group.
Or that magazine reached out to us to interview us.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Because they were like, we see that you're teaching people how to make real friends, but online.
Yeah.
That's a gift that we're apparently giving to the world. So
yeah.
So, well, thank you for meeting with me tonight, Lindsay, so that we could go over all of this. And so, if you want to join Louisville Women Connect, or you know a woman who needs to join Louisville Women Connect, send her our way, and we will look forward to welcoming her. Follow the Lou Review podcast for more about my adventures in Louisville. And Lindsay, is there anything else you want to say?
No, just we look forward to meeting you.
Yep. All right, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.